Ukraine when the West also pays Putin up to $700 million a day in oil, gas and coal? And I know the British Foreign Minister, Liz Truss, has talked about it, how Britain's looking into it. Are you?
First, as a general proposition, nothing is off the table, and we are evaluating every single day the sanctions, their implementation, and additional measures. The sanctions are designed, in the first instance, of course, to have maximum impact on Russia and Putin, while minimizing harm to us and our allies and partners. There's no strategic interest in reducing the global supply of energy. The immediate effect would be to raise prices at the pump for Americans, and also to pad Russian profits with rising prices. So we've been carving out payments for energy trade and transport from the sanctions that we've been implementing. But we have a strong interest, we and our allies, in degrading Russia's status as a leading energy supplier over time. This would be a profound strategic shift. That's why Nord Stream 2 was shut down. That's why we're surging LNG to Europe right now, to help accelerate its diversification away from Russian gas. It's why we're denying critical technologies to Russia for further energy exploration going forward through the export controls we put in place. This is part of a process to reduce reliance, dependence on Russian energy. So that's where our focus is. But again, as I said, we're looking at these things every single day.
How long will that take?
Well,
and how many people have to die in Ukraine before?
I'm not going to put a time frame on it. What's happened in record time, as we've seen, are sanctions and other measures that a few weeks ago people would have said were never going to happen. I think we've demonstrated very, very clearly that what we said we would do many months ago, when this crisis first began to emerge, back in November, December, the G7 countries, the European Union, I said that if Russia chose the path of aggression, we would impose massive consequences on Russia, including unprecedented economic sanctions. I know some people thought that was more rhetoric than reality. I think we've demonstrated already how strong that reality is. And again, we're looking every day at measures to increase the extraordinary pressure we're already exerting.
We'll take a final question from Yuri Sheko, DW.
Thank you very much, Secretary. I have two questions. First is also on no-fly zone. You said that NATO will not send fighter jets to Ukraine to shoot down Russians. It's understandable, but there is another way to impose this no-fly zone, and I mean sending to Ukraine air defense capabilities. Of course, the United States sent Stinger missiles, but I'm speaking about high to medium air defense capabilities to support the currently working Ukrainian defense capabilities with S-300 and Buk, which are working also quite well. The second question is, we saw more than a week of fighting and how Russian forces weren't able to achieve most of its objectives. They were bogged down, they were stopped in many places. So how does this week of war change the US assessment of the might of Russian military that was considered to be quite high? But now, what is your assessment now? Thank you very much.
Thank you. First part of the question. We are looking every day at what technologies, what capacities we can effectively deliver to Ukraine to defend itself. And that's an ongoing conversation, literally happening on a daily basis, both with Ukraine and government officials, as well as among allies and partners. And so the main focus is on making sure that anything we provide can be used effectively and in a timely way. So, but as I said, that's quite literally something we're looking at every day.